In some ways, aha can't be explained. It must be experienced. Every aha story leads to the distant country, the areas of our lives where we leave God out. The distant country becomes a place of desolation and ultimately a place of desperation. But despite that, every aha story has the possibility of a happy ending. It can become the moment in someone's life where there is this beautiful collision, and at just the right time, their life collides with the Word of God and the power of the Holy Spirit, and everything can change.
Thank you, Papi. Are you kidding me?
I was recently reading about Rose Crawford. For 50+ years of her life, she was blind, couldn't see anything. But then one day, she had this surgery performed, and suddenly she could see. Just imagine what that moment would be like. All of your life, the world is described to you, but you can't picture it. You don't have any frame of reference for it. And then suddenly, the bandages are taken off, and having lived in darkness for 50 years, now you can see.
Here you go. Let me know if you need anything, okay?
Okay, thanks, Carmen. That is aha. It is this beautiful moment when someone sees something they've never seen before, and it changes everything. It's my favorite part of being a pastor. I love hearing these stories where someone's life is going in a certain direction, and they didn't plan on it, they didn't prepare for it, but then there is this collision. And their life collides with the truth of God's Word and the power of the Holy Spirit, and it sets them on a whole new path.
So just like in the Army, officers aren't allowed to fraternize with all the lowly privates?
You think being head of accounting makes you a lowly private?
Well, being new vice president definitely makes you an officer.
Well, then I'll expect a snappy salute every morning.
So, you ready to work on the house?
No, actually.
Really? Thought with this whopping salary you'd be pulling down.
I wouldn't call it whopping. It's not.
You know, actually, all we'd need to make a boatload of money is both our signatures on the same check. It takes 2 signatures for each purchase, you know. I'm one, and now you're the other.
Yeah, I can just sell my body on the street corner for money.
We should do that, yeah. What are you gonna do with that quarter?
What do you want, Edward? I'm busy.
Hey, honey. Hey, sorry to interrupt. I was just had some more thoughts about Amber's graduation present. Yeah, I was thinking maybe
I can't talk right now.
Yeah, I know, but I just had a second, so I thought maybe we could, you know, talk without her overhearing this.
Yeah, well, I guess if we try really hard, we can figure out a way to have a private conversation. I gotta go. Oh, I am so sorry. Well, at least I missed your pants, but...
Claire? Claire Anderson?
Brad Hastings, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm great. Wow. Look at you. You look like you get the day we graduated.
I wish.
Well, I'm just calling it like it is.
Are you... Do you live here?
Yeah, well, I moved back, sold my home in Malibu, and, you wouldn't love it. Overlooking the water. I still remember those art class paintings from the seagulls and the piers. Or was it pelicans?
Oh, you remember that.
I also remember you leaping off stage during graduation practice, too.
Oh, no. I had to pick up my diploma in crutches. Oh, I was hoping nobody remembered that.
Well, you were quite daring.
No, I was a show-off. Fortunately, serves me right.
So, you still Claire Anderson, then?
Yeah. Whew, I gotta get back to work. It was really nice talking to you, Brad.
No. The pleasure was definitely all mine.
Yeah, well, Goodbye. Friend me. Okay.
Will do.
The word aha is defined as a sudden understanding, recognition, or resolution. For our purposes, we'll define it as a sudden spiritual understanding, recognition, or resolution. Most of us have had some moments like this. I was talking to a young man recently who was telling me his aha story. His girlfriend made him come to church. He didn't want to, but she said, come or else. It was an ultimatum. And so he started coming, but then he said the strangest thing happened. They broke up, and he kept coming. And he explained it to me this way. He said, I thought I was coming because I wanted her, but I discovered what I really needed was Jesus. Aha. A couple was telling me their aha story. They realized a few years ago they were living as fans of Jesus instead of completely committed followers, and they decided that they were going to go all in and fully surrender no matter what that meant. They prayed about it, and they felt led to adopt a child from Ethiopia. What they didn't know is that God would have them adopt a sibling group of 3 from Ethiopia. And they said, it's never been crazier, that we've never had more joy or fulfillment. We realize now the only way to follow Jesus is all in. Aha. It is that moment where our eyes are opened and we see something that may have always been true, but just now we have an awakening.
What is it, Mika? My little girl is going to medical school. Come here, Mika.
Med school. Congrats, Anjela. That's really great.
I don't have the heart to tell him that we can't afford it.
Oh, you can afford it. You just keep turning me down. Keep the change, baby. You're welcome. You should be making money like that. Seriously, how much you make here?
In a good week, a really good week, 500.
That's about what my girls make on a really bad night. A bad night.
Ray, I can't. Sorry. Come back and see us.
Oh, I will. I promise.
I got it. Let's go. Should be heading back.
Your lucky day. Papi says it's on the house. Again.
Yeah, he's got to stop doing that. Hey, congratulate your sister for me. Hope to see you all Sunday. So what is aha? Well, my wife has this cookbook at home. It's called the 3-Ingredient Cookbook. She wouldn't want me to tell you that she uses this because she typically does cook with more than 3 ingredients at a time. The truth is, it's my cookbook. On the rare occasion I'm allowed in the kitchen, this is my go-to cooking companion because, you know, honestly, 3 ingredients, that's about my capacity. And one of the things I've learned the hard way with this cookbook is that all 3 ingredients are necessary. If you try to cheat it, it doesn't work out. If you try to go with 2 instead of 3, it's not gonna taste right. The same is true with aha. There are 3 ingredients, all of them are necessary, and as I've listened to hundreds, if not thousands of stories over the years, and as I've studied the aha moments in Scripture, I've just found that consistently there are always 3 ingredients. The first is awakening. It's this moment where you suddenly realize the truth about something you hadn't seen before. The second ingredient is honesty. This is where you tell yourself the truth about your situation, your life. The third ingredient is action. That's where you do something, that the awakening and the honesty leads to some kind of change. And I noticed that awakening, honesty, action, they form an acronym, AHA. All 3 ingredients are necessary. But when one of those ingredients isn't there, it doesn't work out. Aha doesn't happen. All three are needed, and when all three come together, it can really make a life-changing difference. Hey, thank you, Raul.
I'll see you next time, Kyle.
All right.
What is that stink?
What?
Smells like roadkill.
I don't smell anything.
It's your socks.
Hey, don't worry about cooking supper for me today. I got bowling league, so I'm just gonna grab some sliders from Burger Barn. You want any, baby?
Just change your socks.
Hey, so I called earlier today about Amber's graduation present. I was thinking maybe we could put a down payment on a car, used, of course, and pay for a year's car insurance, you know, something practical.
Why don't we pay a year's worth of union dues so she can follow in her dad's smelly footsteps?
I'm just saying, baby, a trip to Acapulco. I mean, when it's over, what's she got to show for it?
What she has to show for it is memories. I mean, memories of stuff other than this.
Memories ain't gonna pay the rent, baby. Besides, when she get back, all the good jobs will be gone. Of course, you know, Joel will probably take her back at the Burger Barn, but...
Burger Barn. Now, there's a first-rate career opportunity.
Yeah, but Amber's got a heart set on going to college, so she probably wouldn't be interested in moving up in the Burger Barn. Although, you know, Joel has like 6 locations. That'd be perfect management opportunities for her.
Amber is not going to work at Burger Barn for the rest of her life.
I didn't say she was.
She's gonna do something interesting, something exciting. She is going to Acapulco after graduation for 2 weeks.
2 weeks? Baby, you sure we can afford that?
2 weeks. Amber is going to see that there is a great big world out there, and she doesn't have to settle for nowhere.
Okay. 2 weeks it is. Whatever you say is fine with me, babe.
As I studied the scriptures, I found that they are just full of these aha moments. But I want us to look at one in particular. It is the parable of the prodigal son in Luke 15. It's probably the most well-known of the parables that Jesus tells. It's not a real-life story, but I like to say it's a story full of real life. That is to say, you can't read this story without finding your own story in it and without hearing the stories of people you love.
Hey, what can I get for you?
Yes, I will have
Ice cream. And you want chicken too? Oh, I just smelled it. Your food will be out in just a little bit.
Obviously, in this story, the father represents God, and the younger son represents, well, most of the rest of us.
I need more fries.
If you've ever thought about chucking it all and starting over, if you've ever thought that you wanted more and deserved better, if you've ever felt like you were being held back or you were missing out or that you wanted to do things your own way, then perhaps you can identify with this younger son.
Look, I'm afraid not all VPs are created equal. This is a good step for you, Tim. It's a step into a whole new world.
No, I understand. I'm grateful for the opportunity.
Good. Well, well, well. It looks as if we have someone here to make out with our newest VP. See you at the next board meeting.
Yeah.
My man is now the sexiest VP in the whole company. What's wrong?
Well, I finally make VP, and the salary's only 2/3 of what I thought it would be.
I don't understand.
He said I'd keep moving up.
But we were counting on it. Tim, what about the house?
Maybe in a year or two.
No, we have been waiting. I have been waiting.
I know, but there is no way we can swing it right now. Sorry.
All of our sacrifices were for this. You working the extra hours, leaving me with the kids, it was all for this job. For our new house.
Yeah.
It was our dream. Well, I'll see you at home.
Sliders from Burger Barn.
Yep, that's my Eddie.
He actually said that?
Yes, I'm serious. The man's an idiot.
Oh.
You know, I can't. I just won't spend the rest of my life with that man.
Oh, I've never seen you like this.
Well, get used to it because this is the new me. I'm done.
Wait. What are you saying?
You know, I've only stayed this long because of Amber. Once she graduates, I'm free. Free. I've spent my whole life being someone's daughter, then someone's wife, and someone's mother. It's my turn now.
Well, you deserve to be happy. And you're still young. You could find Mr. Right.
Well, actually,
What? Oh, tell me.
No, I just bumped into an old classmate from high school the other day.
And?
There's nothing to tell.
Oh, come on. Tell me.
His name is Brad.
When you travel to the distant country, you're not just going somewhere, but you're also leaving something behind. For the prodigal son, he goes for the wild living, but the only way to go was to leave his father. I think what drives many travelers to the distant country is that for one reason or another, they're running away. They may think they're running away from restrictive rules or a smothering relationship. They may think they're running away from something that's been holding them back or keeping them down. But the truth is that when we pack our bags and we head to a distant country, we ultimately find that we are running away from God. Another reason that people leave the Father for the distant country is that they're more concerned with now than with later. The prodigal son wants his money now, even though he would receive a great deal more if he waited until later. The principle of delayed gratification, of enduring challenges in the present for a greater reward in the future, can often be a tough one to swallow. And for the son, the cravings for immediate pleasure were too tempting. All he thinks about is now, and so with more greed than patience, the son heads off. How many of us have made that same decision? We want something different, and we want it right now.
Angelita. If we have to, we can take a loan now. The ring is collateral. For your school.
School's given me enough debt already, puppy. I don't want any more. I will just have to wait.
I've been holding on to this ring all these years to hand out to you, mijita.
Papi,
Sí, mijita.
turn off the light.
And another reason that people leave home for the distant country is the fact that life just looks a lot better over there. The grass is always greener on the other side. Standing in the middle of real life, surrounded by relational stress and financial trouble or spiritual doubt, it's easy to stare longingly out at the distant country. From this distance, it just looks easier and less stressful, and frankly, like a lot more fun.
Thanks for lunch, Mr. Jacobson. I really appreciate it.
Enjoyed the company, Tim. Listen, been hearing some really good reports about that.
Here's your card, sir. Wish I could drive more in the parking garage. That's amazing. That looks brand new.
Yeah, it is. You know, Tim, you keep up the good work, and pretty soon you'll be driving one of these.
It's so natural for us to want to run from our problems. It's so easy for us to choose the now rather than the later. It's so tempting to look at the distant country and to think somehow we're missing out and it would be better there. So for the high school student whose parents can't stop fighting and finds yourself running from boyfriend to boyfriend, for the middle-aged man who feels like his career is stalled out and is spending more and more time at the bar, for the husband who feels ignored by his wife and turns to the internet for comfort, we have this weak moment where we hear the call of the distant country, and sometimes we decide to pack our bags and go.
Baby, you are way too pretty to be fretting about whatever all this is.
All of this is the future I've always dreamed of, but there's no way I can come up with the cost of admission. Can I get you a cup of coffee, Ray?
Baby, why don't we talk about what I can get you?
Not again. Ray.
I'm serious. Why don't you give it a shot? What do you have to lose? I mean, if you don't like it, just quit. You can't do it forever anyway. Think about it. How many 60-year-old dancers do you see? But you know what I see a lot of? 60-year-old waitresses. Do you want to be one of them? Wasting your life away? Saying, coulda, woulda, shoulda. I have an opening now. One phone call and it's filled.
$500 on a bad night, really?
That is what I'm saying, yes. On a bad night.
When do I start?
Hey, thank you.
Yeah. What did they say about the raise?
You do not want to know. 3 more years before we can start on the new house. Unless, of course, I start robbing liquor stores.
Well, there's always the power of the signatures.
I've been thinking about that, actually.
And
let's say Company X submits an invoice for bolts, rivets, screws, something small.
All right.
If the head of the accounting department cuts Company X a check, and the VP of purchasing signs that same check, Company X walks away with the money.
It's not hard to set up a dummy company, just bogus invoices.
Invoices would be so small, who'd notice? I mean, I'm not greedy. Just want enough to start on their new house, that's all.
Absolutely. You know, keep it small. Hancock spends millions on raw materials, a few thousand more or less. It'd be impossible for anybody to find out.
You sure?
If we're careful, absolutely. What I want's a cabin in the Rockies before I'm too old to enjoy it.
Let's do this, partner.
Hey, honey, you should have came to the airport with us, sweetheart. Amber was so excited. She looks like you're going somewhere.
Bingo.
Well, where are you going?
I'm leaving.
Leaving?
Yes, Edward. I am leaving. I've already seen an attorney, and you'll be served with papers in a few days.
An attorney? But why?
But why?
Yes.
I could sit here all night and draw you a picture, and you still wouldn't understand. I'm leaving because I want to be free. I'll be back later for the rest of my things.
There are any number of reasons why we leave the Father, but honestly, the distant country, the wild living, spending all this money, it just sounds like a good time. But I've talked to enough residents of the distant country, and I've spent enough time there myself, to know that it starts off that way. But inevitably, life lived apart from the Father doesn't work. It just falls apart. And when it does, the question becomes, how bad will it get? How far will things go before you decide to come home?
Hi, Brad. It's Claire.